Hey guys, this is Locke. In this video, I'm going to be doing the Grave of Venom number 9. So this is the team I'm using. I'm using Horus and other rares. I'm just going to go through the units very quickly so you can see. You can pause this and look at their stats if you want to. So in this video, I'm going to explain the strategy a bit. I'm going to talk about other units that you could use. And finally, I'm going to do the run. The reason I'm doing that is because the run takes about 4 or 5 minutes, and I don't really know what else to talk about during that period. So I'm going to explain everything first, and then at the end, I'm going to show the run. So if you just want to watch the run, you can skip to like the last 5 minutes of the video or so, and look at that. So the first thing that you really want with this is you want to have two different units that can apply the attack penalty debuff on a 10-second interval, and you basically want to be able to cycle through them. So you can set this up to run automatically. The first one, Arena caster skill at 12 seconds, and then Sigurd caster skill at 22 seconds, and they both cast their skills once every 20 seconds. So this way, I have full coverage of this skill going off. There isn't a second past the 12th second that the boss is not debuffed with this attack down 50%. This attack penalty debuff is actually really powerful. I've explained this in previous videos, but very quickly, this completely reduces the boss's damage by 50%. When you're putting on equipment, the equipment, if it's like a 50% plus attack on your equipment, that increases your base attack. But buffs in the game, like once the battle starts, that's your overall attack. So this decreases the overall attack of the boss by 50%. It's very, very powerful. So with that in mind, the second thing you have to focus on is to make your tank as beefy as possible. Now I'm using this set that I got. The 3-piece effect takes 15% of damage that all your allies would take. So if your ally would take 1,000 damage, now they're taking 850, and Horus would take 150 instead. With this setup, only Horus is taking the damage from the boss. One of these wisps, like this one, is also attacking whoever has your lowest HP. So Horus would take that damage as well, but it's very minimal. The biggest thing here is actually that he's reducing the damage. That's the second part of this effect. The overall damage he takes is also reduced by 15% as well. So it would stack with other defensive buffs that he has, like whatever defense he has, this is on top of that, so it would reduce the damage by 15% overall. So it's very good. Now you might have a bit of trouble farming this item because this is actually from the Grave of Curses. So here's what my suggestion is. Let me just go over to him and I'll show you the items that I'm using on him. So these two pieces, they're not actually that great. Like for example, this has more HP and defense than the piece I'm using. I didn't want to spend so much time farming this, so I just wanted to get whatever I could from it, really. So I'm getting 7% HP and 600 HP, but it's not really that great. There are better items, like better substats you can get. So whatever item you get here and here really is okay. As long as you get any two pieces, over here, that's probably fine. What you really, really want to get, and this might take some time, is one of these two pieces with a defense substat. If you're able to do that, first of all, it's really important that you get the orange piece, right? Because if you get this purple piece, the highest defense you can get from this is 40%. But an orange piece would give you 60%, so it's a lot more, useful. You can farm the Grave of Curses number 7 and do it over and over again until you get one of these pieces. Either one, doesn't matter, that gives you a 60% defense, and put it on him. It doesn't really matter what the substats are. Like this is the only one that I farmed, and it happened to have pretty good substats because it gives you 11% HP and an additional 2000 HP. So that's great, but whatever I happened to get, that's what I was going with, and this is what I ended up with. If you're not able to do that, then I would just suggest using anything here, like any of the other orange pieces that gives you defense. This is what it would look like. Like this thing, for example, gives you 60% defense and an additional 110. If you don't have that, if you don't have this, you just use this. Find other ways to increase his defense, but if you're just not able to, farm for this, uh, for these two slots, use this because the substat isn't that great, and you don't really increase his defense anyway. You increase his HP by a little bit. If I'm using this instead, you increase his HP by about 2,500, 2,600, but it's not that big compared to the stat bonuses you get from these pieces. So just use a good purple item with good substats that increases your defense for both of these pieces. For these pieces, find something. Like, it doesn't matter what the 3-piece effect is, or the 2-piece effect is. Find something, some orange piece that gives you 60% defense in both of these, both of those slots. For these two slots, you want to increase defense as well. So find something that gives you good, the main stat has to be defense, and the substat should also have some defense. I mean, it only has 5% defense, but every little bit helps. Here I did a little bit better with 11% defense, but yeah, get as high defense as possible with it. The big elephant in the room, unfortunately, is this item here. Not a lot of people will have access to these epic artifacts that I'm using. I'm not really able to use the blue artifacts because they're all at level 1, and I don't have the items required to level them up to 16 or 20. That would take way too long, and I would have to sacrifice, other things that I want to level up. Like, I want to level up this item because I think it's really cool. So I'd rather, focus on those things than leveling up these blue items that I wouldn't use for anything else after this. So, unfortunately, that is a big thing, and I don't really know how to solve that. If you don't have this item, the best one I can suggest to you is this, which would give you the extra 20% HP. This would just enable his survivability a little bit, and also does increase his defense as well. If you look at how high his defense goes with this, it goes up to 195 defense. The one that I'm using at level 16 increases his defense by 182, but it also reduces the AoE damage that he takes by 18%, which is really good for the stage because every other attack from the boss is an AoE attack. So if you are able to get that, that's great. But if you're not, I think this is probably the best item you can go for, the Troll's Heart. So that's Horus. And aside from getting the any 2 units with the attack penalty down, getting whatever tank you're using, you don't have to use Horus, but Horus is a free one that everyone has, so I did it with Horus. But you can use any tank that you have. Just make sure the survivability is as high as you can get it. I found that regardless of how much defense I stack on him, I needed to have more than one healer. So that's the reason why I'm using Quarion, as you can see. And both these healers are only 4 stars. You can see I haven't even awakened their 5th star yet. And the reason for that is because it doesn't really matter. If you look at their skills, they heal allies by 20% of the target's max HP. So even if she's level 50 or level 100, she's still going to be healing for the same amount. Now the battle skill is going to differ a little bit by the attack because it's 150% of attack. So if she has higher attack, she will heal a little bit higher. But I'm kind of building her mostly for HP, because HP and defense. So it doesn't really change too much from what level she is. So that's the reason why I left her at level 90. I don't really need her to be higher level than that. And same with Quarion as well. He also heals allies for 15% of target's max HP. Whoever you're using, whatever healer you're using, read their skills and see if it's something like this. If it's target's max HP, then you don't really need to get them to level 100 or even do their 5th awakening. The only thing you have to watch out for is that whoever has the lowest HP, this thing is going to attack it. In my case, it's Irina. So I left her here next to Horus. So whenever these guys heal, they will be healing, this region right here. So both of them will benefit from, both Horus and Irina will benefit from that heal. Other than that, for my 2 attack penalty debuffers, I'm using people that can do a lot of damage because I also want to kill this boss in, I think it's 5 minutes time limit. But their biggest stat that you want to worry about is actually their accuracy, not their attack. Because this boss has a resistance of 200, So you need about 220 accuracy to consistently land your attack penalty debuff on this. And I will show you how I'm doing that. So let's look at Sigrid first. So with Sigrid, I went with whatever items I could find that had accuracy. I just did this and tried to make the best I could, and these were the items that I found. With accuracy, if you find that you still need more accuracy, that you're not able to get it up to where you need it to be, you can also just use items that give main stat accuracy for your chess piece. Something like this. If it's an orange piece, you can get 96 accuracy. If it's a purple piece, you can get 64 accuracy. This item right here, this rune also gives you 64 accuracy for the purple runes. Yeah, and then find whatever substats that you can that provide accuracy. For her, for Arena, I actually am using this item to give 72 accuracy as well. And as I said, like, people might not have this item. So if you don't, use a chess piece that will give you more accuracy, or try to use one of these, something here that also increases your accuracy, like maybe this one. Yeah, like the effect doesn't matter as much, in my opinion, as accuracy. Like you will see in the battle, actually, this item is a great item because it decreases the defense of one of the units. But when she casts it, she for some reason always casts it on the wisp, not the boss. So the effect is negligible because the wisp doesn't even die when the boss dies, right? You'll see in the battle later on. So the effect doesn't really matter. But what I really care about here is that her accuracy is up to par. As I said, you need 220 accuracy. You can get 15 accuracy from a food item, and you can get an additional 30 accuracy from Sigrid's captain skill. So that's 45 accuracy. So you need 175 or more accuracy. So I have 195 on her, and on Sigrid I have 166. Is that right? I think I need a bit more. I'm just going to use my calculator here to see if I calculated that right. So 220 minus 45, 175. Yeah, so I do need actually 9 more accuracy here that I seem to have missed. So I need to find a way to increase her accuracy by 9 more before I take her into battle. I actually found that she still applied her debuffs quite consistently. So maybe 210 is okay. Maybe you don't actually need 220. Anyway, I'll deal with that later. I'll continue my explanations. So what do you do if you don't have some of these units? If you don't have Sigurd or Arena, the answer is actually kind of easy. Because if you look at, you just basically want any unit that can apply the attack penalty 2 debuff. You get one for free from the game, which is Gulal. He has exactly the qualifications you want. He has a timer that's 20 seconds long, and he applies this for 10 seconds and has a 100% chance to apply. He is given for free, so if you don't have Arena or Sigrid, if you don't have both of them, first of all, you can use him, and you are able to get somebody from the rare selector, which I highly, highly recommend to be Sigrid. She's just so useful. She has a really good captain skill. She does a lot of damage. She has attack penalty down. She has healing probation. Both of these effects are used in so many boss fights, so you can't really go wrong with choosing her. And then she does a bunch of other stuff too. I'm not going to go into, but she is really, really good. So I highly recommend you get her from the rare selector. So you can use her and Gulal if you want. Or you can also use, whatever other epic heroes or legendary heroes you have. The thing to note with the legendary heroes, for example, I was using her, but you have to skill her up because this thing starts at 23 seconds. Then you will have 3 seconds where you don't have coverage and the boss's attacks will get through. The boss will attack without his attack being debuffed, and he will do too much damage. So for that reason, especially if you're a free-to-play player who can't afford these skill books for epic and legendary heroes to bring their cooldown down, I would highly recommend finding 2 rare units that have that. Those skill books are so much easier to come by, and use these rare units instead. I think this attack penalty debuff is one of the strongest debuffs in the game, especially for PvE scenarios. So you can't really go wrong with having 2 of these that you can consistently debuff any boss's attack you want and cycle through it so that you can get through it. If you noticed, I like the two videos I posted before this. I fought the level 170 dragon, the violet and the green dragon, and I was basically able to do that because I was consistently cycling through the attack penalty debuffs on the boss. Um, yeah, so that takes care of the two units and the tank. You can use any tank you want, really. I used Horus because it was a free tank, but there are other really good tanks as well. You don't have to scale up the tanks, to be honest. Uh, any tank would work. The biggest problem comes now with the healer. You get Hexander for free. Actually, I should remove this because it's not attack penalty. So everyone gets Hexander for free. So that's great. You have one healer. The only other healer that I found in the rares that could work is Quarion. So if you don't have him, what do you do? This guy is kind of a healer too, but I find that he's kind of harder to use because he's a melee unit. Um, she is terrible. I was really excited to use her. I leveled her up, but this skill doesn't target the tank as much as I wanted to. She heals herself or somebody else. It doesn't say it heals the lowest ally, so I would recommend not using her. I tried to use her and I was really disappointed, so don't waste your resources on her. So Quarion is really the only rare unit that you can use. There isn't any other choices here that I could see. Maybe I missed somebody, and if I did, leave it in the comments. Let me know who I missed. But I don't see anyone else you can use. So because of that, you probably have to go with a epic or legendary unit if you have some. There are thankfully a lot of legendary units that are healers. Sorry, a lot of rare units, not rare, epic units that are healers. So any of them would work. Just going through a few, Sylphris would work. I hope that's how you say her name, Sylphris. There is also Garion. Garion would work. Vikuk would work. They're all healers. You also could use a shielder as well, like a strong, powerful shielder. This one, in addition to shield, also gives you defense up to allies as well. So this one could also work. Nathaniel could work. He's a healer, a small healer, but he also provides significant shields to your units as well. Garius is a really interesting choice. I recently got Garius, so he's at level 1, but I've heard that could be the best healer in the game, to be honest, because his healing doesn't depend on target's max HP. It depends on his own defense. So, for example, if your tank has, say, 50,000 HP, if you're using a healer that heals 20% of max HP, he only gets a 10% heal. If you're using Garius, and Garius has, say, 4,000 defense, and you use the skill, so that's 4,000 times 600, which, what is it, like 24,000 HP heal? So that's massive, right? So you can build Garius and stack his defense and do some insane heals. I have to really, level him up and talk more about him because I haven't used him and I don't know exactly how he works, but your positions and stuff have to change. But there are a lot of people that are using Garius, so it shouldn't be too hard to find a way to use your tank plus Garius to heal. It's just a different arrangement and position you have to use. When I level up my Garius, I will do another video talking about how you would position your units with him. But there are other units. Catherine would also work quite nicely. But anyway, so the point is, if you don't have Quarion, you would unfortunately have to use a epic healer. If you don't have an epic or a rare healer, it's going to be tough to do it, to be honest. Unfortunately, I can't fix that problem because I think with your selector, if you get Quarion, there's a limited amount of content that you could use with Quarion and not Sigrid. So, I mean, maybe you could do level 7 without Quarion, right? I think that's probably better than getting Quarion from the selector and not getting Sigrid and being stunted elsewhere. So if you don't have Quarion, if you don't have other healers, unless you level up your units, insanely, everyone is level 100, everyone has the best possible gear, maybe that way you could do it, but you'd probably get a secondary healer before you get to that point at some point. I think those are all the notes I have for which units to use. What about your main unit? What if you use her Where is she? What if you use her as the ice and you use her shielding? I found that it was not sufficient enough. It's a 250% attack shield. It's on a 20-second cooldown. She doesn't have any other skills that would decrease the damage your boss would take. So I found with her and a healer, it just wasn't enough. She's at level 90, and I think I made her attack almost 3k when I tried, and she still didn't provide enough of a shield for my tank to consistently be able to survive throughout the course of the fight. So unfortunately, she doesn't work for this specific fight. I think that's it. Those are all my notes that I have for this. So I'm gonna do this fight without using an item. So this is to show that there's a little bit of buffer. What I mean by that is, for example, I mentioned some things that I have that you probably won't have. Like, for example, this item. You might not have this, and you might not be able to farm a 3-piece set of this. You should be able to farm a 3-piece set of, any of these items, because I showed you how to do the level 7 of this Harpy dungeon with epic gears. I think I released it 4 or 5 days ago. If you want to go back and look at that video, I did it with a very similar team as I'm using right now. But I did it with epic gears instead. I didn't use any legendary gears. So if you are able to build a similar setup to that, you can farm the level 7 stage. And if you're farming the level 7 stage, you should be able to get items like this one. So whatever you need on them, like for example, on the tank, you would use these gears, but with a main stat that gives defense instead of crit and attack. That's what you would use. But for the other items that you're not able to get, like for example this item or the 3-piece set of this particular one, because maybe you can't farm the Grave of Curses, I'm giving a little bit of buffer. So that's why I stopped him at level 95. And I'm also not using any food. So hopefully you have 10% more defense with my setup. And you're also able to level up Horus to level 100, which also gives him additional defense and EHP. So with that setup, hopefully it makes up for the difference of me having better artifacts. Maybe it doesn't. I mean, I don't know. I'm doing my best. I can't go and level up the blue items, so that's why I'm using, not the possible best that I can use, so that to give you that kind of buffer. So that's it. I'm going to start this fight, but I'm going to stop commenting because I don't really have anything else to talk about. But you can see the fight, and I'm going to say bye now. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Enjoy the fight.
Don't underestimate the strength of the forest humans.
My magic shall rend you.
Worry not. I see the power of lightning. Don't underestimate the strength of the forest humans. Piranha.
My magic shall rend you.
Don't underestimate the strength of the forest humans. Worry not. I am here. See the power of lightning. Don't underestimate the strength of the forest
My magic shall rend you.
humans. Piranha. Don't underestimate the strength of the forest humans. Worry not. I am here. See the power
My magic shall rend you.
of lightning. Don't underestimate the strength of the forest humans. Piranha. Don't underestimate the strength of the forest.
My magic shall rend you.
Worry not. I am here. Don't see the power.
Try to hurt me.
Don't underestimate the strength of the forest humans.
My magic shall rend you.
Piranha. Don't underestimate the strength of the forest humans. Worry not. I am here. See the power of lightning. Don't underestimate
My magic shall rend you.
Don't see the power of lightning! Don't underestimate the strength of the forest humans. Piranha! Don't underestimate the strength
My magic shall rend
of
you.
the forest humans. Worry not. I am here.
Try to hurt me.
See the power! Lightning! Don't underestimate the strength of the forest humans.
My magic shall rend you.
Piranha! Don't underestimate the strength of the forest humans. Worry not. I am here.
Try to hurt me.
See the power of lightning!
My magic shall rend you.
Don't underestimate the strength of the forest humans. Piranha! Don't underestimate the strength of the forest humans. Worry not. I am here.
My magic shall rend you.
See the power of lightning! Don't underestimate the strength of the forest humans. Piranha! Don't
My magic shall rend you.
underestimate the strength of the forest. Worry not. I am here.
Try to hurt me.
Don't see the power of lightning! Don't underestimate the strength of the forest humans.
My magic shall rend you.
Piranha! Don't underestimate the strength of the forest. Worry not. I am
Try to hurt me.
See the power of
My magic shall rend you.
lightning! Don't underestimate the strength of the forest humans. Piranha! Don't underestimate. Worry not. I am
Try
here.
to hurt me. My magic shall rend you.